You very rarely see a picture of Warren Buffett without a Coke in his hand, a cherry Coke in his hand. And he owns 400 million shares of Coca-Cola stock. Total investment there over the years, because he's invested in Coke for many, many, many years, is about $2 billion, okay? It's worth today about $20 billion. Been a good investment. He doesn't care. Doesn't care about that. You know what he loves about that investment? Is the dividend. He loves the dividend on Coca-Cola, because what Coca-Cola does is increase that dividend every year. So when he started buying that 25 years ago, every year and every year since then, the amount of money he's paid as a shareholder goes up. And a matter of fact, in his letter, and remind me about the letter if I don't remember. In his letter, he writes an annual letter to shareholders that's available on the website to everybody to read, and it is must reading. I swear, folks, please, if you've never read the letter, get started now. BerkshireHathaway.com. That's all you need to know. BerkshireHathaway.com. And it's a great letter. I mean, it's got a lot of legal stuff he has to write about, but then when you get to the stuff where he just talks about investing, and he's talking to us. He's not talking to CEOs or anything. He's just talking to us folks. It's incredible, incredible. So I think it was in the 2010 letter, he said, and you can read them all the way back to, there's 51 of them on the website. You can read them all, okay? He said, in 2010, he said, by the year 2020, I will receive a dividend from Coca-Cola equal to the amount of money I've invested in the company. He's getting a dividend in another year or two of $2 billion. He's getting a 100% return on his money every year, just in the form of the dividend. And you know what? The year after that, he'll get paid more because they'll raise the dividend again. Coca-Cola has raised its dividend for more than 50 years in a row. They're not going to stop doing that, okay? And usually they'll raise that. It varies from year to year. Some years it might be 3-4%. Some years it'll be 8-10%, something like that. It's what they can pay, and it's just been phenomenal. And I look at that, and I always enjoy watching the reaction of people in the room. And then my response to that is, did Warren Buffett do something at Coca-Cola that you and I can't do? He saw a company that he loved because he used their product all the time. And he started investing in that company some 25, 30 years ago, and he stays with it constantly. Good times, bad times, he stays with it because he knows what it's all about. He understands the company, and it's been a great reward. Come on, every one of us in this room, if we wanted to sit here and create a mutual fund just amongst us, we could go around this room and everybody would shout out a different stock that they like or a company that they like that they'd like to have in there. Just do what Buffett did. Start investing in the darn company and just keep investing in the company. Reinvest those dividends. Take advantage of the compounding, and you'll do real well. You'll do real well over time. Trust me, it pays off. He's also a very simple guy in that in one of his letters, I think it was about 3 or 4 years ago, he talked about his estate when he dies. And I think most people know that he's already acknowledged that he will die penniless. His estate will pay the whole value of whatever he has now, $86 billion, will be donated to charity. It's pretty much clear. He's pretty much acknowledged that it will go to the Gates Foundation, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And that's where he's been funding a lot of money every year, and that's pretty much identified as the place where the bulk of his assets will go. But then he put out in his letter, he said, I've also advised my attorney to make small bequests on my behalf to various people that I want to thank and reward for the relationship I've had. Which led me, my first reaction to that is, what does a guy worth $86 billion think is a small gift? I'd like to find out. but I don't think I'm on the list. But I don't know if it's $1 million or it's $50 or what. I don't know what it is. But he said, I want the attorney to also send a letter with the check telling them what I want them to do with the money. Okay. This is the guy who's had the mind to invest over the years and become a large shareholder in some of the great American companies. He said, here's what I want the note to say. Take 90% of the money and invest in an S&P 500 index fund. Now here's the greatest stock picker of all time telling his friends and family to invest in an S&P 500 index fund. That tells you a lot. That tells you a lot about trying to beat the market and his belief that you can't. You might get lucky once in a while, but you can't. He said the other 10% buy a short to intermediate term bond fund and then just sit back and forget about it and let her go, let her go. And there's a lot of wisdom in that, and I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. If you've got kids, grandkids, best thing you could do for them as early as possible is put money into an S&P 500 index fund. It's a great way to go, and use that as sort of the catch-all for birthday presents and stuff like that. Now, as much as index funds are great investments, and Warren Buffett thinks they're great investments, they're boring. They're just boring, okay? There's nothing that will make you really get real excited about owning an index fund, you know. I mean, other than the fact that they keep going up in value year after year after year for the most part. For our kids and grandkids, we had kind of decided we want them to become investors. And you know, investing, if you're not an investor yet, I always say learning to invest is just like learning how to ride a bike, okay? How do you learn to ride a bike? You put your cheeks in the seat and you start pedaling, okay? Okay? And you're going to fall down, you're going to skin your knee, you're going to have a few aches and pains, but once you get it, you got it, okay? And you'll know how to ride a bike. You'll know how to ride a bike for the rest of your life, okay? Investing's exactly the same thing. You learn to invest by doing it, okay?